So just building on that idea of your temperament, your grace, your spirit, this becomes a really important thing, because it's very easy to become embittered. It's very easy to become cynical. It's very easy to become angry. And sometimes you can feel that those qualities are actually exciting. Again, we've all read the story of the rebel actor. But everyone who's successful in showbiz turned up, and people agreed to work with them. So there's this element of being consistent, being trustworthy. But it's difficult to have the grace not to judge yourself and not to judge other people and not to judge the show you're in. Which is not to say you can't be a fan and say, I thought that was rubbish and I thought that was great. But when it comes to you in your professional work mode, you have to be careful about those passions, because it's easy to get overwhelmed with either compliments or with people putting you down. A test maybe of an actor is, can you go into the bar afterwards, whether the audience love the show or hate the show, and treat those imposters both the same. So it's the whole if Kipling thing. But what I've noticed about actors that I trained with who went on to become very successful almost immediately is that for the most part they were very grounded people, and they were like, when they were 21 they were already like 45-year-old executives in a way. There's a sort of maturity. The producers are basically saying, will you drive my plane for me? And they don't want you to crash it. They want a nice safe landing. If they're paying you a lot of money to lead some show or just be in some show, they're taking the chance. You've got nothing to lose. You've not got the job. So almost like a knowledge that the people seemingly have all the power and the money, they're the ones with more to lose than you. Having a knowledge of that, an understanding of that, a sympathy for that is quite important. Most people I know who've done well are far more like your Colin Firth types, i.e., on the face of it, pretty boring actor, but consistent and with love. Most people aren't Mickey Rourke giving it up to go boxing and beating up the girlfriends and all that sort of stuff, that wild man stuff. You've got to go and do the shows. It's like, look at, like, one of the reasons Oasis didn't make it in America is because they didn't do the shows. Liam didn't turn up because Noel kept undermining him, so they trashed their own band. As a solo performer, as an actor, you need to not trash. Your inner Noel should not be trashing your outer Liam or whatever. You need to be careful with yourself. Another aspect of the acting thing is that no one's making you do this. No one's putting a gun to your head. Your parents didn't say, right, enough of this, wanting to be a doctor or a lawyer or something. It's Hollywood for you, my lad, or nothing. It's so you've made the choice to go into this. So be graceful about that and don't blame anyone else for that choice. And also I compare it to like mountain climbing. You're not going to climb Everest every week or every year. And even the big, great actors, if you do one great film, you're some kind of genius. If you do two, you're a phenomenon. De Niro's got his prestige because he happened to be in like 3 or 4 back-to-back really big, spectacular dramas. But there are loads of great actors. Most actors are really good actors. But you're not going to win the Oscar all the time. You know, when did you look at like Scorsese for directing? He didn't get it for anything good. He got it, I think, what, for The Aviator? He got it for doing something rubbish after his career had sort of, after the high points of his career had kind of dropped. It's but if you enjoy doing it, there are ways of staying connected. Which is the other aspect of that is the money. I mean, you need to make a living, right? Well, every actor pretty much has another job. Even like millionaire actors, because you can't do what? How long does it take to shoot a movie? Maybe 2 months. You know, DiCaprio can't do 6 movies a year. So for those other 9, 10 months, what's he doing? Well, he advertises watches, and George Clooney does coffee, and people do other jobs in between. So whether you're successful or unsuccessful, you do need to think about what you're going to be doing while you're not acting. Another catchphrase that was said to us at RADA, we had a couple of directors came to speak to us, and one said, you've got to do recorded media, otherwise you won't make any money. But you've got to do stage, otherwise you'll have nowhere to go in the day, as it were. And what he means by that is like the stage might be a 3-month, 4-month, 6-month, 8-month job. It just gives you a working life. Whereas if all you're doing is like a week on a show here, a week there, you can make a bunch of money, but most of the time you've not got the work. Another great one was Mark Rylance talking about being offered a season at the National and a role in a Spielberg movie, and he wasn't sure which to do. And he said, at the end of the day, he said, well, what am I in it for? And I'm in it for the community of acting. And he said, well, on a film set, the crew form a community because they're there every day for the whole shoot, whereas the actors come and go. So they don't really meet people. Whereas as a stage actor, you're there every day, you get to know everyone. And so that is an important aspect of it because it's your life you're living. And it's quite important to unhook from your goals, the kind of fantasy goals, if you like, or achievement signposts that you're hoping for, and think about what your actual life is. Just like any relationship, you've got to live with the person. Can you? Can you live with yourself? So it's this quality of grace, and you can see it in like football captains or, you know, rock bands who do well year in, year out, your big touring acts. There's an element whereby they accept the criticism. They've got the grace to say, okay, well, not everyone's going to like us. And not every album's going to be a hit. And it's again, the same with actors. It's you can do good work and present it, but it might not be what people are looking for. Or there might be some problem and it just doesn't work. As the actor, you're not in control of all the materials. You know, you're interpreting someone else's play and someone else is directing, putting their interpretation, and a producer is fitting the scale of it and where it's going to be playing at. And so knowing that you can't do everything in the story is quite important. But knowing that you prepared, you're clear, you've chosen imaginative actions, you're graceful enough to get on with your community. These seem important, and it's, I mean, for me, it's been a very difficult struggle, a difficult life, but it's also, again, you remind yourself that you chose it, and you remind yourself that there is satisfaction, and, you know, just like you might not be able to climb Everest every day, you can still go for a walk. You can still do Snowdon or something like that. And, you know, and I've been up Snowdon a few times, so that's all right.